पूरे विश्व पे कैसे पड़ा भारी हमारे देश का एक मारवाड़ी। जिधर न पहुंचे बैलगाड़ी उधर पहुंच जाए मारवाड़ी। पर मारवाड़ी क्या है? पीसो धंधो व्यापार दुकान मकान, ये है मारवाड़ी।
है कि मारवाड़ी ना महज एक शब्द नहीं, मारवाड़ी एक सोच है, मारवाड़ी एक जीवन जीने का तरीका है, या यूं कह लूं मारवाड़ी ना अपने आप में एक बिजनेस स्कूल।
मारवाड़ी का मतलब है मारवाड़ी चीते की चाल, बात की नजर और मारवाड़ी की अकल पर कभी संदेह नहीं करते हैं।
Lenskart, Oyo, D-Mart, Urban Ladder, Zomato, Khaitan & Co, Radico Khaitan, Hindalco, Birla, Future Retail are all different companies operating in different sectors. But there's one thing common between all of them. All the companies are owned or operated by Marwadis. Why is it that the Marwadis are so good at business? Let's have a look at 11 strategies that make them so good at business. But before knowing about the strategies, let's know about the history of Marwadi community. Marwari traders have historically been migratory in habit. The possible causes of this trait include the proximity of their homeland to the major Ganges-Yamuna trade route, movement to escape famines, and the encouragement given to them by various rulers of northern India who saw advantages in having their skills in banking and finance. The pattern of Marwadi migration became increasingly divergent following the decline in wars between Rajput kingdoms, which the Marwadis had helped to finance, and the decreasing influence of the community over the North Indian caravan trading routes that resulted from the British establishing themselves in the region. The changed focus of migration was also encouraged by the British, who established or patronized new trading routes and centers, as well as by taking on the political significance of the Rajput coast, whose famed conspicuous consumption had been supported by Marwadi money. The community welcomed the relative safety that the British presence offered, as well as the commercial and legal frameworks that they provided, and which were more favorable to the Marwari activities than the systems prevalent during the earlier of Mughal and Rajput rule. The Marwadi Jagat family served as a banker to the Nawab of Bengal during the British era. After the decline of Mughal authority, Marwari traders, bankers, and financiers migrated to the growing British power in Calcutta. There were particularly significant population shifts to Bombay between 1835 and 1850 and Kolkata from the 1870s, as well as to Madras. A considerable number of Marwadi business groups made their fortune on speculative markets in the 19th and the early 20th century. Although maintaining close and public ties with the British authorities, members of the Marwadi business community were early financial supporters of the Indian National Congress, often which was kept a secret. In 1956, the All India Marwadi Federation opposed a linguistic organization of states which buying up regional language newspapers in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Today, they control many of the country's largest media groups. The community's influence over the Indian economy declined following the country's 1991 economic reforms. From a peak of controlling 24% of economic activity in 1990, it had fallen to less than 2% in 2000. This reflects the growth of new industries outside of commodities trading and primary production. The figure for 2000 is considered to be lower than the position in 1939 when the community first began its resurgence. Now we know about the history of the Marwadi community. Let's see the 11 strategies that makes the Marwadi community god of business. Marwadi business firms are known for their careful watch on money. They believe in strategic management of investment funds by moving them to where they are most productive in the long term. According to Thomas A. Timberg's book, The Marwadis from Jagatse to the Birlas, there are 11 secrets of Marwadi businessmen which are still valid and perhaps will remain so. To be a successful businessman, you have to learn how to delegate. Otherwise, the span of economic activity you engage in will be limited. Furthermore, they also know when to intervene, fully aware that a decision to intervene is costly. Marwadi businesses have always ensured transition from business founders to inheritors, accompanied by their own style and system in order to sustain the legacy of the company. Marwadis are the keen watchdog of their financial investments and play a safe game. They keep close financial monitoring of the enterprise in which they have invested their hard earned money in. One of the few business organizations that see business growth as the key to success is the Marwari business community. They would use the money they made to open more stores, or they would strive to establish branches outside of their home city. One of the main factors that contribute to Marwari's superior business skills is the growth that comes with expansion. The willingness and fortitude to build the firm are crucial components of an entrepreneur's success. This trait runs in the family of Marwadis, as evidenced by the fact that many successful business people in India are Marwadi. It is the most important aspect to maintain the corporate culture that befits its market and times. An adequate corporate culture is one thing that demands financial incentives and inspiring loyalty, especially of competent managers. It is the most important aspect to maintain the corporate culture that befits its market and times. An adequate corporate culture is one thing that demands financial incentives. Business is a long term commitment. Marwadi's long term perspective prevents them from getting blown away by fads. For this, they consider that the responsibility of the managers has to be more tentative and experimental in this approach. Some of the world's oldest family businesses have had some very successful ventures and a lot of failed because of missed opportunities. So always keep incorporating new developments and create opportunities as Marwadi business houses do. In terms of their traits, Marwadis are entirely parsimonious and focus on adding more to their wealth rather than spending it on luxury items like cars, luxury goods like clothes and handbags. If you look closely or inquire around, the majority of Marwadi company houses that are prosperous and well run are not new or startups. They are well established by the family's elders and carried by succeeding generations for many years. Years bringing experience, the ability to navigate through all difficulties and maintain original ideas for improving corporate operations and general knowledge. The secret is to carefully monitor the financial health of the business in which they own shares while strategically allocating investment funds to where they will be most profitable over the long term. The base occupation of Marwadi business houses, as already mentioned, is passed down to the younger generation. The family's upbringing is most important in these situations. Even financially secure Marwadi households generally start teaching their children the importance of money at a young age. They encourage their children to begin saving as soon as they reach the age of majority by telling personal anecdotes from their own lives by giving them financial advice. A clear goal to expand the family business economically and consequently to expand the self helps the company retained to top employees.